This video is intended to help NAFA decide what methodology to use at Can-Am for judging spitball calls in the championship races. First, I'll demonstrate how APES can be used without requiring any user intervention. Next, I'll point out the issues that could rarely occur. Finally, I'll show the new features that could be used to address these issues. I'll first demo what will be shown during the non-championship races. I'll simulate a clean heat with no reruns. I'll set it up so each dog runs super fast. The start dog initiates a new heat, and this is indicated with a splash screen. When the start dog returns, the pass for dog 2 is shown. The passes for dog 3 and the anchor dog are shown full screen. When the anchor dog returns through the light curtain, the 3 passes are rotated and stacked side by side. APES gets split times from the EGS system when the judge pushes the button on his remote. This also resets APES so it's ready to start the next heat. If the judge delays pushing the button on the EGS remote that ends the heat, an internal timer will reset APES automatically. Ready for new heat will be displayed on the image instead of the split time overlay. This is the way APES will normally work, but a configuration option will be changed for the championship races. We'll go in the setup menu and set up the event so that we show the last beam break on each heat. We'll simulate the heat again. In this configuration, the image associated with the last beam break is shown. A judge can then use the sub-image in the composite to verify that the last dog in the heat held his ball. After 3 passes have occurred, APES switches from display of a full screen image to a sub-image in a composite. The image associated with the latest beam crossing will always be shown in the rightmost sub-image. What if still more beam breaks occur? The 6 images are then shifted left, and the image associated with the most recent beam break always goes in the sub-image on the right side of the composite. Let's configure the simulation for more dogs and redo the heat. Watch the images shift to the left once a total of 6 sub-images are in the composite. So the spitball judge should focus his attention on the start line area of the rightmost sub-image. At this point, we've seen how APES can be used to judge spitball calls without any user interaction required. This is the way it was used at Can-Am in 2015 and 2016. I've added some new features for viewing passes that NAFA might want to use in 2017. A handheld Bluetooth keyboard will be available for each lane in both championship rings. After the 3rd pass, the composite image is shown instead of a full screen image of the last beam break. Consequently, the judge must focus on a much smaller screen area to make the spitball call. Also, while it should be rare, it's possible that enough reruns will occur that cause some images to be shifted off the left side of the composite image. If one of the first dogs had a spitball, the associated sub-image will no longer be part of the composite. Image review mode could be used in these cases. If the R key is pressed, APES enters a mode that allows review of all the beam break images in full screen mode. The R button can be pushed before or after the heat has been ended, regardless of whether it was ended by the EGS remote or the APES internal timer. The image is labeled to identify the returning dog on the right and the outgoing dog on the left. The cursor right and cursor left keys can be used to show the next beam break and prior beam break. The spitball judge can then use the E key or the Enter key to exit the pass review mode and return to the display of the composite image. However, this isn't required, since APES will be ready for the next heat when the judge pushes the EGS Heat In button or the internal timer expires. Recall that a heat is ended when split times are received. The heat is also ended when an APES internal timer detects a long period of inactivity, or if the heat was manually ended using the E key. Regardless of how the heat was ended, the next beam break will be interpreted as the start of a new heat. The beam break will cause a splash screen to be displayed and all the images to be cleared from memory. Therefore, the heat images will no longer be available for easy review. So after the heat has been ended, the system is vulnerable to an accidental beam break. For example, a loose dog, spectator, judge, or handler might walk through the light curtain while a review of the passes is underway. If this happens, the images will be cleared from memory. The heat can be suspended by using the S key. This prevents the heat from being ended. The suspension must be done before events occur that would normally end the heat. The APES inactivity timer will be stopped and a flag will be set so that neither reception of split time data nor the judge's EGS remote will end the heat. If the heat is suspended, the E or Enter key must subsequently be used to manually end the heat. Otherwise, subsequent beam breaks will be interpreted by APES as additional reruns of the current heat and appended to the current heat's memory image collection rather than a new heat being started. In summary, I've shown how APES has been used without user intervention to judge spitball calls. However, the anchor dog return and rerunning dogs must be reviewed in the composite image. Also, the composite image has a maximum of 6 sub-images, so if many reruns occur, intervention will be required to see the earlier images. Finally, some person or dog could walk through the light curtain before the review is complete. This would clear the composite image. New APES features can be used to eliminate the potential for these problems. The R key can be used to review any image in full screen mode regardless of the number of dogs that ran. The S key can prevent accidental beam breaks from clearing the images before review of the heat is complete. And the E key can be used to manually end the heat. This key must be used if the heat was suspended using the S key.